Hey everyone, this is David with Gollivan Property Services, and today I'd like to show a really quick and simple video on how to change your lawnmower oil. Now, to do the oil change, all you need is three basic things. You need your new engine oil, a small water bottle, and a tub or bin to place your old oil into. Now, before we get started, we need to figure out the proper engine oil that our engine uses. In this case, I'm using a Toro Timemaster. The engine oil that it requires is SAE 30, or there's a second variation depending on the climate and the temperature. And you also need the correct amount. In this case, we have the proper oil and we have the proper amount. It's 18 fluid ounces or 532 milliliters, and it varies for engines. In this case, this engine has a minimum of 18 fluid ounces and a maximum of 20 fluid ounces. You also want to make sure that you have the correct amount, that you fill in the proper amount, and that you also drain the proper amount. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take our water bottle and we're going to cut it and make two different tools out of it. One is going to be our funnel, and the second is going to be the area where we it's going to be like our catch basin for all the oil. So step number one, you cut your bottle. I usually cut it at the top, so in this case you can either stab it. Oh, that's a bad stab, whatever, just gonna cut it. There we go. Cut around a little joint. That's bad. Okay, real quick, simple, and bam. Now you have two steps. You have a catch basin and you have your funnel. Now, before you drain the oil, what you want to make sure is that the engine is warm, and specifically that the engine oil is warm. It's usually best to do this several hours after you've mowed on a warm summer day. Or what you can do, if the mower is cold, you want to warm it up for about 10 seconds or something, just to get a little bit of heat in there so that the oil flows out a lot easier. And now we're going to be draining the oil. The interesting thing is that most residential lawnmowers, they don't have a drain bolt for the engine. The interesting thing is that the spout that it pours into is the same spout it drains from. So right where your engine oil dipstick is, you take that out. You're gonna wipe that off and set it aside. Depending on how strong you are, I'm hoping that most of you are strong enough. What we're gonna be doing is tipping the lawnmower over. And if you're not confident enough, what you can get is a helper. In this case, I'm just gonna do it by myself. What you want to do, you want to grab your catch basin. In this case, I'm going to pry my foot here behind the back wheel, and I'm going to tip the mower. And then from here, you put your catch basin right under the spout, and you're just going to tip your mower over. Holding up your catch basin, you want to tip it a little bit more until the oil starts pouring out. And there we go. Now, all we're doing is pouring out the oil, and what we want to look for is a small, steady, controlled flow. That way you can see how much oil is coming out of it. And I'm just going to tilt it a little bit more. As you can see, the oil is actually a lot darker now compared to what it was on the dipstick, and it's just pouring. Right now, as it's coming up, you want to slow it down a little bit. The tilt, you'll fill about maybe 1.5 of these things up if you have a smaller engine. In this case, it's going to be about 2 of these little catch basins for me. And I'm just pouring it out, controlling. And then right about when it's full, you want to start leaning your mower back. And in this case, I can control the lean. I want to take my oil, I'm going to pour it out right now. I'm pouring out my oil. I have my catch basin right here, ready to use. And then same thing. Now we're going to continue pouring out the oil. In the last clip I said maybe 2 of these, or about 1.5. I kind of lied, it's actually a little bit less. But as you can see here, the oil is flowing out. And now we're just going to let it run. And you basically want it to keep running until it completely drains. As you can see now, it's just dripping. That's good. That means it's basically out of oil. You want to adjust this. If you really want, you can just stand here and hold to make sure you get every single drop. But it is also very handy to have a napkin or some kind of towel, just so you know you don't want any of the oil to drip on your concrete. And now we're just gonna wait. I'll give it maybe like 30 seconds or something, and then we're just gonna tip it over. All right, so now what you want to do is make sure that you can tip your lawnmower freely. In this case, I had my bucket there, so I'm gonna remove it. And this part, what you want to do, grab your little napkin, your little towel, paper towel. You're gonna wipe the excess oil off. You're gonna insert your dipstick, and you're gonna seal it shut. In this case, there we go. Did kind of a bad job. There we go. Nice. Now it's shut. Now the oil's gonna drip out. Cool. What we're gonna do, you're gonna move your excess oil, drain all of that. And what you're gonna do here is you're gonna stand on the opposite side of the mower. You want one hand to be on the handle, the other hand to be on the deck, and you're just gonna push down on the deck while you're pulling up on the handle and controlling it. You're gonna set it back on its side. Boom. And now we're just gonna do the very basic and simple part, and that's refilling the engine oil. So you want to take off your dipstick once again. It will have a little bit of oil residue on it. You just wipe that off, no problem. I'm using dirty towel. You always want to make sure it's clean. I used the wrong side in that case. And set this aside, oil dipstick. And grab your little cup, cup, funnel, unscrew your bottle, then check that out. In this case, if it's in perfectly, it's sitting there, I'm not touching it. Grab your oil, pop that off. You can use a screwdriver, your finger, whatever you want. In this case, I'm gonna grab that. And now, same thing. You're just gonna pour in your oil. In this case, you wanna hold your little funnel to make sure it doesn't fall off and oil doesn't spill anywhere. And I'm pouring in the entire 18 ounces. And I'm just gonna hold it there. And then I'm just gonna grab my paper towel because I see the oil is kind of slipping out from the cap. But got that done, nice and clean. Got our last drop of oil, wipe that off, seal. Then we're gonna take this little cup. You wanna kind of knock off any oil. Then with a clean side, with a clean paper towel, I want to wipe the little face of that. Screw the cap back on and throw these items away to the waste. And now to finish it off, all you're really gonna do is just put your dipstick back in the engine. Make sure it's put on there tight, seal it, give it a little tug, a little lift to make sure it's not coming off. And you can start your engine again just to get kind of an idea of how it's running. And now that is the conclusion for the video. We successfully changed the oil. Wasn't anything super hard, super difficult. It took maybe 3 minutes max just to change it. And now I just want to go with some quick pointers. If you overfill your engine oil, what will end up happening so in this case my maximum limit is 20 fluid ounces. If I exceed the 20 fluid ounces, what's going to happen is that all the extra engine oil, it's going to start burning. And so what's going to happen is that from your exhaust, you're going to have a lot of smoke coming out of there. If you ever have white smoke or just any kind of clear white smoke coming out of your exhaust, usually that's a sign of excess oil in the engine, and all that engine oil is burning out. In that case, what you want to do is you're going to basically go over the entire process, drain some of that oil. So you're going to tip it again, drain some of that out, and then kind of just recheck and you want to get it to the point where that smoke goes away. Once that smoke goes away, you're in the good. And the last thing you want to do is you want to properly dispose of all that oil you collected. Basically what we do is we collect the oil in these big buckets, and what we end up doing is we recycle the oil. And I know for the United States, a lot of your local auto stores, they take oil. The entire process is called recycling oil. You walk in there, say, hey, I'd like to recycle some oil. Normally they'll do it themselves, or they'll take you back to where the oil gets dumped. I think Walmart, and if maybe a few other local stores that offer the entire auto maintenance things like oil changes and stuff, they'll usually collect oil too. And so you just go there, you take your oil, you dump it out. It's all free, shouldn't cost us anything, at least in the United States. And after that, you're completely finished. And that is the conclusion for today's video. So I hope this helps you if you're a homeowner. I guess it's very, very straightforward. It's basic, nothing too complicated. Just things you want to make sure is that you pour in the proper oil, the proper amount, and that you properly dispose of all the oil. And that's pretty much it. If you guys like the video, please drop a like, drop a comment. If you have any suggestions for any other homeowners, please leave that in the comments as well. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good night. God bless. Bye.